What is up, Sooner Nation? Happy Monday to everybody. And it's a cold one where I'm at, Hunter. Cold day today, and spring break is upon us. Sooners are all over the place, it looks like. Got some of them looks like on a mission for Soul Mission. Others probably going back home. I don't know, but it's a spring break week, Hunter. Enjoying the week off?
Yeah, it's a good week. Did not realize it was that cold today till about to leave and realize it's 50 degrees was the high today here. So,
It's
yeah,
chilly.
not prepared for that.
Got my vest on, and I already see the comments coming in on a lot of things. This right here is something I was wanting to address. Sooner fan brought it up. OU has only one defensive lineman that weighs over 300 pounds. That's a problem. Quoted by Gabe Eichert on the Oklahoma Breakdown. Hunter, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, they're about to have two. Jaden Jackson is not far from that 300 mark.
I agree.
He is pretty much there. Give him a few more months. He will be there. Now, if you want to change it to two, yeah, that's a little concerning that Holton hasn't put on the weight that one would have expected him to put on. You also have a few other guys in that room. Devon Sears, that hasn't really panned out to what some people thought would be when he transferred to OU. So, yeah, it is something to look at there. I think David Stone will get there eventually.
Yeah, but my question is, other than DeJoun Terry, who that was already there other than the freshmen like Stone and Jackson, who really did you think was going to get to 300? That would be my question.
Yeah, Holton hasn't really put on weight since he's been at OU. Marcus Strong, I think, is up to in the 80s now, 280s, so still a ways to go for him.
Yeah. What is this comment? It's March 18th. I think that's Jeremy maybe talking about still got a ways to go. Kyla, you're not wrong there, but I think the overarching idea is that at defensive line, you need guys that are going to be over 300 pounds in the SEC. I think that's kind of the number you look for, right? I mean, to me, that's what that is. And Greg God says Connor Neer entered the portal. The processing has begun. Hey, let me ask you this, Hunter. With regards to Connor Neer, the year before, obviously, you saw it with Roof's son who came basically because Roof. But do you wonder why they even get some of these players if they're
well? I don't think TD Roof should be thrown in there. Like he was going to play before injury. That was just a unfortunate situation for him that ended his college career. Connor Neer never really panned out to a starter. Did pretty well in special teams. But I mean, you look at that linebacker room, D2 champion or not, it's hard to get onto the field in that linebacker room right now at Oklahoma.
Yeah, and Sooner fan, I actually heard this on the radio the other day on a national show talking about Aaron Donald, retiring from the NFL and just how he changed the game for the middle defensive lineman because, yes, he's a big guy, but he is more quick, and that's in the middle. And he made a living, great living. He's going to be a Hall of Fame player, 10 years, 10 Pro Bowls, being very quick in the middle. So I understand what Sooner fans talking about when he says Gerald McCoy and Tommy Harris. They might have been barely 300, but they were very quick and strong. And I think that's more important than a guy being 315, like the guy for the Eagles. I can't think of his name from Georgia.
Jordan Davis.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be nice
Carter also.
Those obviously, but
if you have a Jordan Davis or Jalen Carter on your defensive line, you're probably going to be playing for a national championship.
Yeah. Who are we talking about here, Kyla? I think I'm missing the comments. Pretty good recruiter.
DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, I don't know, guys, on the thoughts on that. I mean, I would be shocked to say the least, if that happened. To me, DeMarco Murray leaving for a same position as he does now, I don't see it happening. Now, if he were to leave for like an OC or something, yes, but I don't see him making a lateral move.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Now, if it was Michigan, Sherrone Moore, that's a former teammate. Okay, like you could see the connection there. But Ohio State, you remember how it ended for them in Philadelphia?
Yeah,
it was not a good situation for those two. I do not think you would want to willingly go work for that person who, when you played for them, it was a bad situation all around in Philly.
Yeah. And here we got Chief T. We're talking about the running backs lately. I mean,
what are the complaints right now with the running backs other than last season? I mean, the years before they were really good. Eric Gray was a really good running back at OU, consistent as can be. And they struggled with the rotation last year, but once Sawchuk got healthy and took over as the lead back, he did really well the last 4 games.
Yeah, a couple things. Did Corleone enter the portal?
Let me look.
Doubtpost, are you saying he portaled? I hadn't caught that, and I did not see this, Hunter. I've been busy so bad today at work. I have just got home from leaving early this morning, and BYU now a 6 seed because they can't play on Sundays.
Wait, what?
That's what Sooner fan says. Did you see that the committee dropped BYU from a 5 to a 6 because they don't play on Sunday?
I haven't been on Twitter or ESPN that much today. Let me go find that.
Doubtpost says Corleone no. So
Corleone is back at Cincinnati for another year.
I don't know what you're asking, Doubtpost. You mentioned they should go after Corleone. He's not even in the portal. I mean, so, hey, OU baseball. Hey, you know what? This would be a great time for Hunter to explain something to me and maybe the viewers on here. Please explain the rankings and why there's 3 different rankings. Which one do you listen to? Which one is the best one? Like in football, you know the AP poll.
Yeah.
Which one is the most important in baseball?
Probably D1. They all have their benefits and their negatives. D1
but
is
which one do they look at the most?
Me personally, D1 baseball. That's the one I keep up with. That really seems to be the one that is kept up with the most by teams and all of that. Going for them, they're up to 17 in that poll, and TCU fell down to 18 in that poll from 12 a week ago. So big time win for them. They're 6-0 in Big 12 play, which, I mean, that's a big time lead they have right now in the Big 12 standings because everyone else is starting to beat up on each other. You saw Kansas beat TCU the weekend before. Then they went and lost to Cincinnati. Texas has struggled some. Texas Tech dropped one to Baylor. Like with the way the Big 12 is kind of stuck in a pack right now, Oklahoma being on top through the first 2 series is big time. 7-1 in their last 8 games.
And a big game tomorrow, Dallas Baptist.
That's a top 15. Yeah, top 15 team. Lost to them last time 11-7. They were really close in that one and then just unable to get it done down the stretch. Still trying to figure out the midweek pitching rotation. I still feel like that's kind of something to watch. I'll be interested to see who the starter is tomorrow. Last week it was a little different because you had 2 midweeks. You had Oklahoma State Tuesday, then UT Arlington on Wednesday. And so rotation there was a little different. You had Carson and then Atwood opening it up. Maybe Atwood opening tomorrow. I don't know. It seems like he's been a good guy to give you a few innings off the start to kind of get things rolling.
Yeah. Braden asked who will you get in the portal in basketball? Well, first off, I'm going to kind of transition with that same thought, Braden. Not only who will they get, but who they going to lose. And
I am shocked that no one's left.
I am surprised nobody has already portaled. And Porter Moser's having a press conference tomorrow. And kind of an end of the season press conference, which is weird. He's never done that at Oklahoma. I find it kind of weird he's doing one this year, but we'll see what it consists of. I think it's at 11 o'clock tomorrow. But interested to hear what he says, and see what happens in that situation. I don't know.
Hey, there's a lot of guys in the basketball portal right now. Just looking at some of the names that entered today. This is day one. You still have March Madness. There's going to be a lot more following teams getting eliminated from the tournament.
But you know what, Hunter? You know what? If OU wants to be good out of the portal, you can get a few guys, but you out of the mid majors. But you got to go get some guys from actual Power 5 schools too. I mean, that's look at this year. Who was their best transfer? The two of them, Jalen Moore,
Soares, and Jalen Moore,
Rivaldo Soares, Power 5. I mean, it translates more to the conference you're playing in than does a mid major, in my opinion. And Arkansas baseball is really good. They got the best pitching in the nation. It's not even close.
Yeah, Hagen Smith right now is it's fun to watch. I've watched quite a few of his outings early on when they were playing down in Arlington at Globe Life, and it just seems like every game he's getting double-digit strikeouts.
Topher, I don't think there's any chance they end up with Brandon Gibson.
That's the one to get, though. 6'10".
That'd be the guy to get, but I don't think there's
hometown kid.
They had a chance before and didn't get him.
Yeah, you're right.
So what
makes now you have a second chance?
What makes you think
I wouldn't hold my breath on it. I mean, you're gonna have teams like Kansas come calling. Like this guy was highly recruited out of high school, went to Oklahoma State, and now is in the portal after 1 year. So chances of OU, I think, are pretty slim.
It's funny seeing the guys on Twitter that say this guy has heard from these players or these teams, and it's like, oh great, OU has a chance, and then you see the teams that
are. So you're saying there's a chance?
Kansas, dude. You're like, no. Hey, now that's a good point.
Hey, I feel like though with they've heard from them, those tweets, especially from Tipton, it needs to be like heard from him and responded, because I mean he could have heard from him and not gave him any sort of thought of day, because Kansas, Duke, UConn, Houston are calling. They're not going to consider Oklahoma at that point.
Hey, Sooner fan, I'm going to disagree with you, and
I disagree as well.
Listen, I know there's a lot of people that do agree with you, Sooner fan, but let me just say this: it'd be fine. You could say that if he was playing the big dogs and then not performing, but he's performed against the big dogs, so it doesn't matter. And I don't care where you're playing, 3 straight championships, and when you need him to score the most and when you need him to come up with the plays, he comes up with them. And I think he's gonna be really good at Oklahoma. I really do. And he is the guy to me that, Jeremy, we've argued this about OU fans they don't really get into basketball. He's the guy that can change that because of his following. And it's kind of like when Trae Young was from Oklahoma. I think he could get a lot of players. He's fun to watch. I think I look forward to him at Oklahoma. Big time.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Chad,
3 state championships at any level is impressive, and he's dominating in those games. I think this year he had 36, did really well at the Tournament of Champions in Tulsa in December. So underrated guy that I think is one that really could be a massive get for Oklahoma basketball.
Hey, and Chad Gamble, thanks so much for the super. Appreciate it. Just got on here, guys. What's the reason for Murray leaving OU? He's not. Nothing's official that he's leaving Oklahoma. And I don't think
the whole thing is like odd to me, because I saw the first tweet and it was per Bucknuts. I never saw a tweet from them about it, so I don't know. I'm not on boards. I have no idea what's going on behind paywalls. Don't really care to find out.
Hey,
don't need to know if it's behind the paywall.
Pronounce the guy's name, but other than Forsyth, OU's got an unbelievable recruit coming in.
I don't know if I can pronounce it. I think it's Kaul Atok.
Yes, that's Cool talk. Yes.
Yeah, he's
Unreal,
a
guys.
really good big man with a lot
That
of length and
can shoot.
athleticism as well. And
Yeah.
can
Go
spread the
look him
floor.
up. Hey, go watch film. I encourage everybody to go watch film on Cool Talk. You will be.
And I see people upset with Forsyth playing at Dale. I mean, you guys, some people have been talking about OU baseball right now. You know, they're starting shortstop, played Class B in high school last year, Jackson Willits. You can go from a small school to D1, and there's nothing that prevents that. If you're a ball player, you're a ball player. Doesn't matter where you went to high school at.
Yeah, Stubby says if we have to lose Murray, then let him go. He's been okay, but not to lose. Listen, I do find it funny that people on here now, when Murray's brought up, they're saying, well, he's okay. But I mean, you could say last year was underperforming, but I don't think under DeMarco Murray they've underperformed at running back.
I don't know, other than last year. Like, last year is the only time you could really have concerns, but they got it together at the end of the season. I mean, look at the run Gavin Sawchuk was on the last 4 or 5 games of the season.
If I had one gripe for DeMarco Murray, this is based off what Brent Venables says on who puts the running backs in. I would have to say sometimes I felt like his substitution and the way he did the running backs, that could be a question. I had a question with that sometimes. I mean, for instance, in the Oklahoma State game, Barnes hadn't played much. They bring him in there and he fumbles the ball, and it's like, why was the reason? You know what I mean? So that would be it, in my opinion.
I agree with you. The Javonte Barnes specifically, that was an odd sort of substitution there, especially with how the result ended after the fact.
I see a lot of people talking about Kel Gundy. Hey, Kel Gundy, if he were to come back to OU, I think he would have to go somewhere else first.
I feel like,
I don't think he really wants to.
Yeah, I feel like talking about it is just like it's like a dream almost. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, I think both sides have moved on more for the better, honestly.
Yeah. DeMarco probably tired of fans calling for his name after game. Hey, it's not just and Topher says give him a raise and running game coordinator. And you saw the salaries come out. He's not making that much money. I mean, when you compare it to other guys, it's not like he's just raking.
Yeah, in 2023, he was 4th in the country.
No, I mean for OU staff.
Yeah, and then I think it went down for following year.
Emmett Jones is getting
quite a bit. He is at the bottom of the list on the Oklahoma staff.
Yeah, so that can't. I mean, I don't know DeMarco Murray, so I don't know, but I'm sure that it's interesting. Here's what I always think is interesting. In our jobs, in my job anyway, I have no clue what other people that are equal with me make.
Yeah, I agree with
you
that.
do on a staff like that because it's public knowledge.
Well, yeah, you're a state employee working for the university. Like, the board has to approve all of it, so it's completely public. I wouldn't think though that stuff would kind of cause rifts. I think that they kind of know that that's how the profession works. Like, what other guys make. Like,
hey, and Bobby, this is a great point. And somebody mentioned earlier with Adrian Peterson how he would recruit really well. I do think you're right on this. When you've done it in the NFL at the highest level, you immediately get indoors that nobody else would. But here's the thing. There's plenty of guys that can recruit and maybe can't coach. And that's what you gotta have a little bit of both, because you can get guys, but that doesn't mean you're going to coach them well and develop them, right? Just because you played NFL. Now, you could probably get guys because you played.
I mean, I think he can coach pretty well.
No, I'm not talking.
I mean, the guy was. I know, but like DeMarco Murray specifically, he was the best running back in the NFL for a good chunk of time. In that kind of era where there was a lot of good running backs at that time, and he really stood out. And yeah, he can recruit like no one else, because I mean, he walks into a recruit's house or sends a DM like, I'm DeMarco Murray. I played in the NFL for this many years, like, and I was rushing leader, all of that. Like he knows what it takes to get to the next level, and that's what those players are looking for.
I got a really, really good question, and here it is. Are you better off having a staff full of guys that want to be head coaches? Or are you better off having a staff where people are just happy doing what they're doing? It's a random question. But you know what?
I kind of want to take
there's something about guys that want to move up. There's something about those guys that are just, they kind of have that fight to them. Like, you know what I mean?
That's a tough question because I honestly don't know what I would want to answer on that. Because like I like the way Oklahoma has built their staff right now. Like it doesn't seem like there's really anyone that wants to be a head coach, at least as of right now.
List on the staff. I don't know. I mean, Brandon Hall was a DC. He had probably a chance to go to be a head coach.
Yeah, I could see Hall wanting to be a head coach or DC at some point. But other than that, I mean, Todd Bates has had many opportunities to go elsewhere, hasn't.
Mark says guys that are good at what they do and like where they are.
Yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well. And if that happens to be they want to be a head coach someday, then that's fine as long as they're happy where they are at that point in time.
Does being happy where you are lead to complacency?
I mean, it can. It depends on the person.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like regardless, you can become complacent depending on who you are and your style of coaching, all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Mars had that was a good comment. I believe Hall won a window championship at Oklahoma before he goes on to maybe other things. So that's a good point. It's a good point. Hey, I got trivia tonight, guys. Here we go. Trivia. This is a new trivia tonight. It's going to be interesting. But before we get going with trivia, check out thefanstop.com. Use code SURGE. You'll get 10% off your first 3 months for the shirt of the month. Please go subscribe to the shirt of the month. And today's March 18th. You got till March 20th, I believe, to get the April shirt. So get it signed up.
March 20th. You want to get signed up.
I've seen the shirt. You'll want it.
Yeah, and then there's also the quarter zip giveaway. All those links are in the description. That one's titled giveaway link. So fill it out. You have a chance to win a free quarter zip from the fan shop.
And here we go with the trivia question. OU baseball moved up to number 17 in D1 baseball. This is a pretty easy question for one, but not for both. Okay, so here it is. OU has won 2 national championships in baseball. What were the years? Do you know this, Hunter?
I think I for sure have one of them.
Yeah,
I think the second one I might get a little bit off.
94. There's
Tyler.
Mark
Tyler got it. Tyler got 94.
But what was the first one? You have to go back a ways. I believe Gray got it 51.
That was going to be my guess. I was thinking 51-94. So
there it is. Good job, Gray God. Good job,
Tyler and Gray God.
Yeah, that's right. So, yep. There you go. Good job, guys. Well, with the baseball question tonight, you don't do that very often.
Yeah, I was shocked when I heard you say that, Jay. I didn't expect that from you.
Yep, 51. Hey, Lori's asked a few times, where is Jeremy? He's up at the hospital with our dad. Had to go up there for something. So, Hunter, did he say if he was joining or not?
I would guess no. I would be absolutely shocked. Yeah, we talked to him before we got on here. He was still at the hospital. So
yeah, prayers for Dad.
Yeah, and hopefully everything's okay there.
Yeah, Jeremy's dealing with that right now. So, but appreciate everyone on here. Over 100 of you guys on here. What else you want to talk about tonight? Obviously, Porter Moser press conference tomorrow. Hunter, anything going to come out of that, or is that just a recap of the season? And him
I don't know. It is interesting. He hasn't done it before.
Weird
to do it, so it could go either way, honestly. But I mean, you don't really have a press conference to leave like at your previous school like that. That's a rarity.
It's
It's usually
weird.
just yeah. I mean, I don't think it would be that like that. Where would he go anyways? Like the DePaul thing is completely out the window now. Currently, nothing else that would make sense for him at this point in time. So it's a weird deal all around. All I know is got some work to do. Try to keep who you need to keep, and then attack the portal again.
Yeah, you got to attack the portal, but
You're
man,
going into the
Hunter,
SEC now.
but
You're
here's the
out of the
thing.
Big 12 finally.
Here's the
Try
thing,
to.
though. If there's one thing Porter's going to say, I quit. If there's one thing I would say about Porter Moser that really was disappointing to me this year was he had all the athleticism, and early on they were pressing, they were doing things that you thought, oh, they're going to run the ball more, and then they got in Big 12 play and it just shut down.
Yeah,
So
that was my biggest complaint
and
too.
that's
Is
my biggest
they
complaint. Guys like
it's
Forsyth and Kate Kua talk. I mean, coming in, yeah,
it seemed a lot like they were going to get rid of that kind of slow paced offense that they had last year through non-con. They were up and down the court, defense leading to offense, and then Big 12 play came around and kind of slowing it down again. And I mean, from that point on, it kind of did not work for them. And yeah, they got to 20 wins, which everyone thought that's what you have to get to.
yeah,
Still not enough to make the tournament. Should
yeah.
not, regardless, you should not put it in the hands of the committee. That is not a good place to be in.
Yeah, Chuck says, DeMarco Murray, man, let's get to the real news. There's really not any news about it, though, right now. That's the thing.
I feel like it's been so, like, far blown out of proportion. Like, is there anything to believe that there is, I mean, traction in it at all? I don't know. It doesn't
Sooner
make
fan,
sense to me.
Sooner fan, what's funny, though, is you're saying they're athletes, not basketball players, but then you're on Forsyth saying he's not that good. He's a basketball player.
Yeah, which one do you want? Do you want an athlete or do you want
a
basketball player?
Forsyth is the definition of a basketball player.
Yeah, I mean, he's a stud.
Yeah. Bobby says, so I saw Texas don't want Landon Rink and Rink don't want Texas. No love, and at this point, it's too late to get. Hey, if that's true, I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, Bobby, because anybody can play that game right now, and he can play that game too. But if that's true, and OU would have a great shot of landing Landon Rink, I think, because I think that's the holdup to OU is Texas.
Texas legacy. You Texas out of the picture, you would have to like where Oklahoma stands at that point.
Hey, Chuck, I did not say you blew it out of proportion. I said.
I didn't say you specifically. I said everyone. Everyone has, like, the entirety of.
Has an interview been confirmed, though?
Yeah, that's my thing. Like, I feel like it's been just blown out of proportion from everywhere. Everyone on Twitter. Not just you, Chuck, everyone.
And he may go get an interview, but to me, I don't see him leaving Oklahoma for the same job somewhere else. I just don't. That's
I don't see him leaving Oklahoma to go coach for someone that he's had issues with in the past. That really doesn't make any sense to me, him and Chip Kelly.
And that's fair right there, S to G. That's fair. Interviewing to get more money from OU. That's fair. You could say that. Now, this wasn't probably mess. This is a good point. I think most people could see that the Tallway Walker was one of the best running backs on the team. Now, at what point, though, we don't know the situation on that, because if a guy is causing problems in the locker, whatever, maybe, then you do have to, as a running back coach, you do have to discipline your players.
I don't think anyone was getting suspended unjustly. I think that would be a situation where upper coaching, your OC, your head coach steps in and is like, no, like, we're not doing this. This is ridiculous. So I don't think you're going to suspend a player for no reason.
Yeah, and it's something that's going to have all the full coach's attention, not just running back coach. It's going to have Brent Venables' attention, whatever it is, as far as getting suspension on a player. So OSU not a step up, Kyla says. I would
I would
agree.
agree. Yeah.
I would agree. It's not a
I
step
think
up
it's
if you're
about
taking the
equivalent.
same
It's
coach.
lateral.
If
Yeah,
you're
it's a
taking the same,
lateral position, same position. Another blue blood. It's just the only difference is you're going from your alma mater to somewhere else. Doesn't really make a lot of sense.
and I think this is a fair comment too. A lot of people say he can recruit, can he coach? We'll see. And I also don't think the offense they were running with Jeff Lebby really probably fit what DeMarco Murray wanted to do either. I know it didn't fit Bill Beatenbo. So maybe Seth the Trail, it'll be better. We'll see. I mean, guys, I think DeMarco Murray's a good coach. So I know a lot of people on there are already saying he can recruit, but can he develop and can he coach? I mean, here's the thing. I think the jury is still out on the development from a guy that's a freshman because he has gotten guys like, if you look at it, like Gray was a transfer. It'll be interesting, like Sawchuk next year. Now,
well, he was with Kennedy Brooks too, so
yeah, I agree, Chuck. I don't know this. To me, though, this is typical when it sounds like OU guy looking elsewhere. A lot of OU fans will say, "Well, they're just not that good."
Didn't want him anyways. So
that's typically what happens.
let him go.
Now, and you can
Sorry,
have
no.
that opinion, and that's fine. And if you don't think he's a good coach, he's a great recruiter, that's fine. I don't care if you have that opinion. I disagree. I think he's a great recruiter, and I think he's a good coach. Now, I do say this. I'm going to say this. Just like I said with Jeff Lebby, he's still very new to being a coach. So I think there's got to be a little bit of grace in, hey, it's going to take him time to get.
And I get what you're saying in that. I just think he's at so much of an advantage over everyone else as he was a top running back in the NFL for a good stretch of time, made a lot of money in the NFL because of just how dominant he was over his career. And a guy like that, he knows what it takes to get from OU to the NFL because he did it back in the late 2010s or early 2010s. Sorry.
Well,
and with Dallas, with Philly, with Tennessee, like he was so good at so many different places. He knows what it takes to get drafted and to be able to make an NFL roster.
Well, just listening to him talk, it's not like a guy that just like I can recruit kids. I think he's really good with parents too. I think he's really, really good in that aspect. So,
well, they understand the business side of it.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy played in the NFL. This guy was a really good running back in the NFL for many, many years.
And Mess, you're right on that. Just because you are an NFL running back doesn't mean you can coach up talent. You're right. It doesn't always work out. You're right. OU should never have to get a coach who needs a learning curve. If you get any young coach, they're going to need a learning curve. I mean, so.
Yeah, Jay, you want to talk a little hoops real quick?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit
hoops.
Yeah.
Have you done your bracket?
What's that?
Have you completed a bracket yet?
I have not filled out one game from the bracket yet.
Wow.
I can tell you who's going to win the whole. I can tell you who I'm going to pick to win the whole thing.
Who?
Houston.
Oh yeah, I'm doing the same thing.
I'm going Houston.
Hey, I was filling out mine yesterday. Haven't finalized it. Haven't submitted it yet. But filling it out and realizing, man, there's a big-time Big 12 bias in my bracket. Sooner fan, 100% with you. I have Purdue losing in the second round to TCU.
Yeah, they're not it. Not it. Wouldn't be the first time they lost early. Everyone remember the 1-16. So go someone from the SEC. Are you talking about go get somebody?
I mean, I don't know why we're saying go get somebody like.
Hey,
DeMarco Murray's still at OU right now.
I agree with. I think Gray got to. This is a silly conversation. If he leaves, what? Listen, it is silly because nothing's happened yet. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, until something happens, it's kind of silly to talk about it.
Jay, do you think Purdue's path is easy to the Elite Eight this year?
No, because I don't think Purdue's. I think Purdue's overrated. So I would say it's.
Yeah, I agree, and I think their path's fairly difficult. I mean, you got McNeese State, who's I think a team that could, they're 30-3 right now.
Yeah,
Have
and this
Tennessee
is
as a 2 seed in there at the bottom. So
yeah, and Kyla, you're 100% correct on that comment because they're not very deep. They're kind of injured. If they get into foul trouble, they will struggle. And that's one thing I hate. And I'm going to say it right now. I absolutely hate the Big 12 conference and the way they officiate games. I think it leads to disasters
way
in
too
NCAA
many.
because they let them play so physical in the Big 12. And then you get in the NCAA tournament and they don't do that. And it changes the way you play and it changes the outcome of the games. I thought that for years. I think especially on the perimeter, the guards are able to really be physical with you in the Big 12. You get in the NCAA tournament, a lot of times they don't allow it.
Yeah. I can't stand the weak foul calls you'll see in March that are just
Yeah.
like, come on, you got to let them play there.
Yeah. Chuck, appreciate that so much. Thanks for joining tonight. You have a good night as well, Chuck. Appreciate you. Iowa State, I'm going to pick Iowa State in my Final Four, too. I said a week ago I was going to pick Houston versus Iowa State in the final game. I don't know if that's possible. I'd have to look, but that might be
Houston, Iowa State, you can do that.
That would
They're on
be
opposite
the
sides.
fourth time they play this year. So I might do that.
2-1 right now.
Yeah.
I have Iowa State losing to UConn. UConn's number 1 overall seed. Feel like that's a tough break for Iowa State.
I don't think UConn can get there again, back to back.
I don't think they win it back to back, but I think they can get there.
Steven Tyler. Forsythe can shoot the lights out. He can also drive. He can also create. He's really, really good. I know a lot of people say he played at a small school. He's really, really good. Go watch his tape.
36 points in the big house for his 3rd straight state championship. Go watch the highlights. It's impressive.
He can dunk too, man. I was shocked.
He can get up there. He can get up there, man.
He does.
There's some athleticism there. I know somebody said just a basketball player. He's got a little bit of athleticism.
Bobby, I got to say something about this. I heard Paul Feinbaum today talking. Somebody called in and asked him about the seeding in the women's tournament and if they see things for matchups. And he said, no, I don't think they really do that. I would disagree with that. I think they do. I think the fact that I think Iowa and LSU in the Elite Eight, that should have been in the Final Four when they meet. Same with South Carolina. Those 3 teams should have all been where they meet in the Final Four. None of them should be playing each other before. I don't agree with that. And yeah, that region is loaded. But look at UConn in the men's. They got some of the top teams.
UConn had a very tough. I mean, you're going to be playing FAU most likely round 2. That team went to the Final Four last year.
Hey, and yeah, Hurley is an outstanding coach, Bobby. Unbelievable. And Monty, yeah, he dropped 50 in front of Brad Underwood. No big deal. And Brad Underwood, I'm sorry. I get so tired of these coaches that get in trouble and get their universities in trouble and then go to another school and everybody acts like nothing happened. I'm sick of it. Brad Underwood at OSU caused a lot of problems. And he goes to Illinois and doesn't have to face anything. I don't like that. I mean, it's
the same can be said about a lot of coaches.
Now, Brad Underwood can coach his butt off. He's a good coach.
Yeah. But
he also did things that got the school in trouble. So Mookie Blaylock, UConn run is over. Are you talking about women's or men's?
I think they're talking about men's.
That was quick. One year. Dan Hurley, he's way better than his brother Bobby at coaching.
Yeah, it's impressive what he's done at UConn. Last year they were a 5 seed and won the national championship. This year they're the number 1 overall seed. And a lot of people, I saw a statistic that said 26% of brackets have UConn winning the whole thing right now. So
yeah, and Galpos, I get it, but just because you buy the best players, hence Texas A&M, does not mean it's going to mean victories. Okay, it doesn't mean that at all. Yeah, they have injuries. That one, I can't think of her. Paige is coming back. I did see that. She's really good. So, Mess, this is a great question. What happened to the high school talent in the state of Oklahoma in basketball? You used to consistently produce some big game players who signed with top. Now, I will say this: the guy from Bartlesville last year left the state. The guy Parker Frederickson went to Wake Forest and played really good as a freshman. In fact, the coach said the best shooter he's ever seen in his career. Okay, he left the state of Oklahoma. Okay, Montanati right now is really good. Where's he going to end up? I don't know. I think a lot of them, though, Mess, the talent you do have in the state of Oklahoma, I think they're leaving. I think that's part of the problem. They're leaving Oklahoma. And
there's a lot of programs across the country for the developmental side that just Oklahoma doesn't have. You see players going there quite a bit. I know there's a few up in Missouri that's pretty popular with guys going there to get to the next level. And there's obviously the IMGs of the world, similar situations there.
Yeah, Kyla, OSU tomorrow should hire Doug Gottlieb. They will not. They came out and said they're not. Hunter, you can shake your head. I know you don't like Doug Gottlieb. It would be a great fit for OSU. I'm sorry, it hasn't worked. They've went out and got the
biggest homer in the world,
Travis Ford. They went out and got the next up and coming guy, Mike Boyne. They paid them big contracts after they had one or two good years.
I don't think they should have moved on from Boynton. I think that was a little premature, but
well, he can recruit, but he was not coaching that well, Hunter.
Yeah, it was a bad year, but same can be said about a lot of coaches that keep their jobs after bad years.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see who they hire. If I'm OSU and you're not going to hire Doug Gottlieb, I throw everything in the kitchen sink at Richard Pitino from New Mexico.
Yeah.
Now, whether you can get him to Oklahoma State or not, but he's a really good coach. And
I mean, just got left out of the tournament, so I would.
No, Richard Pitino.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Not Rick.
Bad. Yeah, sorry.
No, Rick.
Got him mixed up.
God,
sorry,
no.
sorry.
I can't stand Rick Pitino.
Yeah, sorry. My bad.
David's enjoying the peaceful conversation tonight. Jeremy won't like
that. I'm sure we will hear about that in a few from Jeremy.
Ron says, considering the roster this year for Oklahoma women's basketball, they had an unbelievable season. Here's the thing, though. Can they get to the Sweet 16? They can. It's not going to be an easy task as a 5 seed. We'll see. I hope they do.
Well, a 5 seed that you're on the same side as South Carolina.
The farthest they're going to get is Sweet 16.
Yeah, I think farthest they get is Sweet 16 because of just the way it panned out for them and seeding. So, but yeah, it was a great year for them. Lexi Keys, big time transfer from Oklahoma State, beat the rival Texas twice on 2 just legendary 3-point shots, and see what Jenny Browncheck can do. She went on a little bit of a run last year, and I wouldn't be shocked if she did it again.
Yeah, I think Sweet 16 for this team would be a good year. I mean, because I'd be shocked if you.
Yeah, I don't think you can beat Dawn Staley in South Carolina.
No,
just a juggernaut.
Oh yeah. So, and we'll see what happens tomorrow with Porter Moser. We'll see what the press conference.
I'm sure we're just talking about it for no reason. I'm sure it will be just a normal press conference. Just a first.
Well, OU's going to lose a lot, Hunter. I mean, they're already losing a lot when you look at guys like Suarez and Darthard gone.
Yeah, losing Rivaldo Suarez because out of eligibility is just brutal. On the fact of how good he was, that was the one grad transfer that really sucked.
Yeah.
To only have him for 1 year at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
With how well he was playing.
Iowa has Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think Dawn Staley's the best coach in college basketball.
Hey, maybe he's announcing a new arena. No.
I don't think he would be the one to announce it. Because it would be City of Norman.
I think this is all about. This is the first year. I think this is all about him, basically saying, "I'm here."
Yeah, it's probably I'm staying and all that.
I think that's probably more of what that is, putting in closure to that, and moving on. Yeah, hit that like button, guys, if you don't mind. That would be great. We would appreciate that. Anything else, honey, you want to get to before we close up the night? Big game tomorrow, baseball. Dallas Baptist.
Yeah, Dallas
15th
Baptist.
versus 17th.
Dallas Baptist at home. You've struggled against them historically. Go beat them and keep up the streak of beating top teams. To sweep UCF, who was, I looked this weekend at the RPI. They were third. We swept them. Swept TCU on the road. Yeah, their RPI is through the roof right now. You have that win over Tennessee, who did just lose the series to Alabama, but that's a really good team. So, yeah, going to be interesting pitching matchups in that game. And also, is John Spikerman going to be good to go? Had the hand injury this past weekend.
Yeah, Jeremy, this is Jeremy. I think we get need tomorrow. Well, I don't understand.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
What are you talking about? That makes no sense coming from an English teacher. Sorry. This is Jeremy. I think we get need tomorrow.
Probably a typo. Yeah.
Well, obviously a typo. Yeah. I wouldn't think he would.
News
tomorrow.
News.
Think we get news as in
news
what?
On what? Like, I mean, guys going into the portal or what? I mean, I am shocked it's 10-16 and I still haven't seen an Oklahoma player hit the portal yet, but
which is shocking.
I'm shocked by that. I expected at least one. If I'm being completely honest, I honestly expected like 3 or more today alone, day one of the portal.
Like and subscribe, Jerm. That's what Mess says to do. And everybody on here, like and subscribe. Be a part of Sooner Surge. Will there be news tomorrow with Oklahoma and basketball and Porter Moser? We'll find out. Anything else from DeMarco Murray? We'll find out. And I promise you, as soon as we hear it, we'll have it out there for you guys. We appreciate you guys. Jeremy's really coming at him now. News tomorrow. Just wait. Jeremy's
he's trying to speak it into existence, man.
He's trying to speak it into existence. Yeah. Listen, before we get off here, like I said earlier, go to thefanstop.com, use code SURGE, 10% off your first 3 months, and go sign up for the shirt of the month before March 20th so you can get that April shirt. It's legit. And also, we got the links in the description for everything else. Quarter zip giveaway.
Into the giveaway. Could be the lucky winner of a free quarter zip from the fan stop. So be sure to.
I've tried multiple times. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe off season we can get him on. I promise you, Jeremy probably will not be on that video. But hey, appreciate you guys as always. Thanks for joining tonight. Thanks for rocking on the comments. Y'all carried it as you always do with the comments. Appreciate you. Thanks for the prayers, Monty. Till next time, guys. Boomer.